Hey everybody, this is Roshni. Welcome back to my channel, the IEN to RN Journey by Roshni. Firstly, I would like to give you a little bit of information about myself. So I came to Canada as an international student to study child and youth care program, and I did eventually wanted to get my license as a nurse. So through all the application and through all the processes, I did apply for my nursing license here in Canada. As of now, I hold RPN and RN license with the College of Nurses of Ontario. I'm also registered with the New York Board of Nursing as a registered nurse. I used to hold a license with the Northwest Territory as a licensed practical nurse, and I also used to have a registered nurse license with the College of Registered Nurses of Alberta. In this video, I would like to give you my first step that I did in Ontario was to apply for my RPN license, which is also called Registered Practical Nurse. So I also went through the same step, which is the first step and very essential step, that is NNAS, which I already talked about in my last video. And in this video I would like to give you a step-to-step guide about how to register as a registered practical nurse with the College of Nurses of Ontario. So becoming a RPN in Ontario requires completing several steps, including education, assessment, and exams, and I will give you all the detailed information about the process and how I did it. The first step is to create an account with CNO. So in my case, when my advisory report from NNAS came in, so I told you guys there will be 3 criteria the advisory report will come with. So the number 1 will be comparable, number 2 somewhat comparable, and number 3 not comparable. For me, I got somewhat comparable in my NNAS advisory report, and after that I went through with the first step, which is to create an account with CNO. So I went to the College of Nurses of Ontario website, which is www.cno.org, and when I went there comes a portal called Maintain My Membership. So I went in that portal and created an account, and in that you guys also can select for applying RPN registration, filling out the initial form. It's a very basic form that will just ask you about your information about your school and where you worked for, your initial registration back home, and the application fee is around $300 that you can pay, and CNO will provide for the application number to track your progress, and you can also see in there what documents they have received. For international educated nurses, to meet the nursing education requirement, I already gave you guys information about applying through NNAS and getting your advisory report. Once NNAS evaluates your education, they will send the report directly to the CNO, and CNO will assess whether your education is equivalent to Canadian practical nursing standards or not. If not, they might ask you to complete additional course through a bruising or competency assessment program, and they will give you email if something like that is needed. Otherwise, if your nursing education requirement is met, in the portal you will see nursing education section where it writes met, and that's how you know your education is within the standards. Number 2 is the evidence of practice. CNO tells us that we must have to have a nursing practice within the last 3 years, and for me, so I worked as a registered nurse back home. So that's when I asked my employer to provide CNO with my duties and responsibilities and also my position, and my manager sent that document directly to the CNO via email, and that's how my evidence of practice was met. And in the CNO website, you can also see if you have not worked as a nurse recently, then you might need to complete a nursing refresher program at an Ontario college. So since I applied before COVID, my evidence of practice was expired because it was more than 3 years since I have practiced. So after COVID, they launched a new program called SPEP. So I went through that program, which helped me meet my evidence of practice and language requirement. So I was able to get the license through that program as well, and I'll give you guys more information if you are interested about what SPP is, how to apply, and how you can meet the requirement for evidence of practice and language requirement. Another requirement, number 3, is language proficiency. If your nursing education was not in either English or French, you must provide a valid language test result. So the accepted tests are IELTS or CELBAN. You can go to the CNO website and you can see what the scores you must achieve to meet this requirement. So in my case, I told you guys earlier that my evidence of practice was expired, so I was unsure about what my next step would be, and CNO already told me that since my evidence of practice is expired, you might have to go back and complete a refresher program again in order to meet the requirement. But after COVID, there was a new program, SPB, which I talked about earlier, and through that program, I was able to complete my language proficiency requirements. So in SPEP, I was allowed to do a placement at a hospital, and in that placement, I had to complete a certain hour work for the hospital, and then the manager would send a SPP completion document including the language that I practiced in, which was English. So that's how my English requirement was met. Number 4 is the jurisprudence exam. This is a mandatory online exam. It covers nursing laws and regulations in Ontario, and it also covers ethical and professional responsibilities as a registered practical nurse. So the exam is a open book test with no time limit, and the steps to complete the exam is to register for the jurisprudence exam through the CNO portal, and you have to pay the exam fees of $40 to $50, and you can complete the exam at your own pace, and you can receive the result within a few weeks. So this is an open book test, so you do not have to worry a lot about it. You can just so how I did it is I just went through the website and start reading all the laws, regulations, and the standards, and I start making notes, and that's how I did my exam. It's a very fairly easy exam, I would say, so you don't have to worry as much. Requirement number 5, and the most important requirement, is to write the REXPN exam. REXPN stands for Regulatory Exam for Practical Nurses. So this is a fairly new exam which started from Jan 2022. Before that, they used to have another exam called CPNRE. So how you can apply for REXPN is to wait for CNO to declare your eligibility for the exam. So one of the things that they consider is your nursing education. Once your nursing education is met, you can write for the exam. So you have to register for this exam through the Pearson VUE website. It's a very simple website where you can put your information and you can register there, and you have to pay for the exam fee, which is around $350. You have to schedule your test date with an approved Pearson VUE testing center. You can take your exam and wait for the results. If you pass, will notify you, and if you fail, you must wait 60 days before retaking the exam. Before, CPNRE only used to have 3 retakes, but now REXPN has no limit on retakes. So this exam is a computer adaptive testings. There will be 135 questions max, and it covers nursing care and clinical decision making, pharmacology, health promotion, and patient safety. So these are the important topics, and I just gave you a little bit overview about the REXPN exam, but in my next video I will give you a much more detailed information about what is expected in the REXPN exam, how you can write it, and give you all the information, tips and tricks on how to give the exam and everything. So this is also a very important step and a requirement that you have to meet in order to get your registered practical nurse license in Ontario. Number 6 is police criminal record check. This is also a very important step in obtaining the license. So in order to get this record check and approved, it must be obtained from one of the CNO approved vendors. For me, I used mybackcheck.com. I went through their website, provided all the information, and there's the initial fee that you have to pay in order to get your criminal record check completed, and this will be directly sent to CNO by mybackcheck, which I used. It took me around $20 to $30, and they did not take very long for my documents to be sent to CNO. I think it was around 24 to 48 hours. And the police criminal record check must be within 6 months. And if it's more than 6 months, then you might have to apply for it again. And the last step is the authorization to work in Canada. You must submit a proof of your citizenship, permanent residency, or a valid work permit. Some of the acceptable documents would be your passport or birth certificate if you are a citizenship, and PR card is also acceptable, and your work permit with authorization to work as a nurse is also acceptable to meet this requirement. Once all the documents and exams are submitted, CNO will review your file, and you might receive a message or a decision letter stating that you meet all the requirements and are ready to register. So after that is the final registration and fees step. So you have to pay the final registration fee, which will be around $300 to $400, and then your name will appear in the CNO Register of Nurse website, and you will also receive your RPN license number, which will allow you to practice as a registered practical nurse in Ontario. So these were all the steps that you can take to complete all the requirements needed by CNO to become a registered practical nurse. Some of the tips that I would like to give you guys is to start your application early, because the process can take up to months and it might be very stressful. Be proactive, follow up with the NNAS, CNO, and exam providers, and it is also very important to follow up with your nursing education back home, your initial registering organization. Also, to prepare for REXPN, it might feel very daunting and difficult, so it's important to stay organized, keeping track of all your deadlines, fees, and required documents, which will help you guys to navigate through all of these and get your license to become a registered practical nurse in Ontario. I hope you guys found all of this information really helpful, and if you guys have any questions or queries and you guys want to know more in detail about all the information that I provided, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and give me a comment so that I can research more on that information and make sure you guys have the right information. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.